All right, guys, so we have an update in regards to the woke ideology being implemented in Loudoun County schools. Okay, now the Loudoun County public school system has been in the national spotlight because that's kind of been the battleground in regards to, again, these woke ideologies being pushed on kids in school. Now, I've done plenty of videos about parents speaking out about this stuff, okay, and I will continue to do so because I think it's important that people understand that parents do not want this. However, in this situation, that wasn't enough, okay? Because they ultimately did end up passing their new transgender rights policy in which teachers will be forced to use a child's preferred pronoun.
A silent celebration after
we have passed policy 8040 as amended.
The Loudoun County Public School Board passes the policy on transgender rights. So starting this school year, staff will have to refer to students by the pronouns they identify with.
This means that they have a chance to go back to school, feel safe, feel accepted, and feel affirmed. They no longer have to worry about the bullying and the harassment.
2 board members voted against it, though.
Under the guise of inclusivity, we are taking action on a policy that's unnecessary, it's ambiguous, it's divisive, it's anti-family, anti-privacy, anti-teacher.
We also tried to talk to some of the community members there who opposed the policy, but they declined. Now, it passed with a couple amendments, like requiring all LCPS staff members to receive training on the new rules and modernizing student bathrooms to be more private and safe.
I feel relieved.
The approval didn't come without controversy. Regardless of opinion, a new state law required the board to pass a transgender rights policy. State Senator Jennifer Boysko sponsored it.
This has turned into some sort of a political football to try to frighten families. What we know is that when students are treated with kindness and respect, we are all better off.
Even though it's a state law, some other Virginia school systems have rejected the policy. We have yet to see if any legal action will be taken against them. In Ashburn, Jess Arnold, WUSA 9.
So when this policy was being considered, I actually ran across an awesome video from an Iranian parent who happens to be a immigrant from Iran, in which he cleverly demolishes the whole pronoun argument by basically saying that, listen, if we're going to do this whole preferred pronoun thing, then you should call my kids king and queen. Take a look.
Dear disgraced board members, you think you're woke? Well, let me wake you a little bit more. I'm a Chaldean married to an Armenian. We are minorities of the minorities in this country. Our ancestors and people survived massacres of the Turks and the ISIS. I grew up in Iran as a Christian. And when we went to school, as much as the government wanted to indoctrinate us, the teachers didn't allow it. The teachers did their job, teach us the curriculum, science, math, biology, etc. They didn't try to shove propaganda down our throats like the Ayatollahs did. Now in the 21st century, we have social justice warrior so-called teachers are trying to shove their garbage ideology down our kids' throat. These are our children, not yours. Their job is not to raise my child or my neighbor's child. Their job is to teach our kids math, science, biology, literature, and that's it. Not ideology. Now you want to push garbage crap like pronouns? How the hell does that keep a kid from succeeding? How does that help them? Does that teach them how to add? You want to push that garbage down my kid's throat? I will make you call my kids king and queen. That's how I will address my sons and my daughter. And you look at me, you call me master. You want that pronoun to be in your mouth when you look at me?
All right, guys, I think it must be said, right? The words king, queen, and master, they're nouns. They're not pronouns, okay? But regardless of that, you get the point, right? You get the point that he is making, right? And it's not like the nouns aren't in question either, right? Because you are supposed to address people by their preferred gender as well, right? And the terms boy and girl, which refer to your gender, are nouns, okay? And I think it's actually hilarious that he made this point, okay? Because this is a point that I feel like should be made. If we're going to live in this world where you're forced to call people by things they actually aren't, right, according to biology, then why not just call people anything, right? Just call me anything, okay? I would love to tell one of these woke teachers, if I had a son, right, that implements this woke ideology, since we can just call each other anything, right? I want you to call my son daddy. Every time you call on him, say, daddy, you got a question? You know what I'm saying? Daddy, what's 2 + 2? Okay, daddy, can you read this? Daddy, come here, right? That would be hilarious. This is the game that we're playing, right? So why can't you call my child whatever they are preferred to be called if we have to do that, right? You see where this goes. And guys, Jordan Peterson warned us about this, okay? He warned us about this a long time ago, okay? In which he said, listen, this is authoritarianism, okay? Forcing people to use preferred pronouns, right? Because now teachers have to do it. So I'm assuming that if they don't do it, then they're at risk of being fired. Even if they're not doing it for religious reasons, they can lose their job if they don't follow this ideological based policy, right? You should never be forced to do that. People should have the option, right? Because that is what free speech is. You might not like it. Somebody's feelings may be hurt, but that is free speech. And I'm afraid that it's going to get to the point now where if you're not using somebody's preferred pronoun, then it will be classified as hate speech. Okay, well, it's going to be illegal not to use somebody's preferred pronoun. We already know now is at the point where, again, it's being forced upon teachers in school, right, to refer to kids by their preferred pronouns. Now, you know, people probably will get fired in the workplace for not referring to people as their preferred pronouns. Okay, and the ball just keeps rolling. Again, eventually it's going to be law. That's the way it's headed, right? That's what I'm afraid of. But I think the main takeaway here, guys, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, is that conservatives need to start running for school board, okay? That's what needs to happen. There needs to be a renewed focus on people in the local communities running for a school board. Somebody had emailed me, right, and said, hey, you know, you have a large following and you can do a lot and you have a large influence with your following, okay? This is just the email. He said, maybe you should start telling people who to call and what to do, right? And I guess they're right to a certain extent, right? So I guess in this situation, it is important for conservatives to consider running for school board, right? So if you're watching this video and this is something that you really care about, please consider running for school board, right? Because these are the people making these decisions, okay? And that's the best way to fight back against this woke ideological indoctrination, right? Being pushed into schools. You have to be in a position of power to vote against this stuff. So, like I said, man, I mean, what people really should take away from here is that no matter how much parents speak out, if conservatives are not in a position of power, this is going to happen. So, again, if you're watching this video, please consider running for school board, right, in your local community, okay? And maybe even running for your local state legislature as well, because as you guys saw, these school boards were required to pass this and to do this because it became a state law, right? It became a state law. So, listen, you know, a lot of stuff happens at the local level. We love talking about national politics, but a lot of stuff that really affects us on a day-to-day basis really happens at the local level. So it's important to get involved, okay? Because that's the best way to have an impact, right? And that's honestly what needs to be done to, you know, have more influence, conservative influence in these schools, okay? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.